everyone, I'm Danielle from empoweredreadings.com. We are going to be asking 2 questions today. The reason for which is I figured some of you aren't going to be in a relationship right now, and some of you who are questioning your relationship, you are either an anxious attachment style person like myself, or you know you aren't being treated the way you want to be in your current relationship, and we just want to give Spirit an open door to give you all advice on how to call in your soulmates or how to call in a deeper conscious connection with your current partner. We're at that point where if you know how to pick a card, go ahead and look in the description box below for the timestamp and go to the pick a card section. If you do not know how to pick a card, this is your first time, I'm going to give you a little explanation right now on how to do so. I recommend always taking 4 deep breaths to begin so that you are grounded in your body and you're aligned with your intuition and your mind is more clear. How we do that, you're breathing in light from above your head, down through your nose, all the way until you feel the air in your core, and then release that out through your mouth slowly. You're going to do that 4 times, and then when you get to the pick a card section, you're going to ask yourself the question that I'm going to have written there, which will be, is my current relationship supporting me? And how do I call in my partner that is of my highest good for me right now? Don't worry about remembering that question. It will be labeled there for you above the cards. And from there, you're just going to choose a pile based on whichever one calls to you more. Meaning, if the crystal on it you like the most, if the cards underneath it appeal to you, if you like the number attached to the pile, any of those things work. Sometimes we are called to more than one pile, but just because it is a general reading, not everything in the reading is going to be specific to you. It is for a large group of people. So the messages are very generalized. All right, I'm going to give you time now to do your 4 deep breaths, and I'll see you in your reading. Hello, pile 1. All right, we've got a ton of cards for you guys today. A lot of cards, so I'm excited to see what this is all about. The main deck that makes the cards different from the other piles that you chose is Divine Feminine Oracle cards. Otherwise, everyone else got the Romance Angel cards, the Goddess cards, Angel Messages cards, and honestly, there's a few other decks in there as well. I'll attach them at the bottom at the end, just so I don't have to waste time going over each card that is here. All right. The Mystic of Peace. The Prophetess of Sacred Way. The Queen of Heaven and Earth. The Red Goddess. The Saint of True Freedom. Our Lady of the Hermits. The Patroness of Miraculous Healing. The High Priestess. The Goddess of Discernment. Queen of the Wilderness. Finances and career. Unrequited love. Heart-to-heart conversation. Keep an open mind. Trust. We're running out of space. Free yourself. Fairness. Fertility. I'm sorry. Sure you can see them there. Okay, perfect. You're not alone. All past lead home. Mother, wife, sister, daughter. Balance career and home life. Power of joy. We're just gonna start sticking them up there. Let it go. Rosetta, you have a gift for working with young people. Your divine purpose involves helping, teaching, or parenting children. Now that you're asked the angels for help, be open to receiving divine guidance and assistance. You deserve heaven's help. I really wasn't kidding about a lot of cards. All right, I'm just going to need a second here, and we're just going to dive right in. Question we're asking Spirit is pile one's current relationship supporting them, and how can they call in their partner that is of their highest good right now? I have the impression that most of you are married and a mother in this group. If not, you are someone who's been with this person or in this relationship for years, and you have been given a lot of signs that this relationship, you're not being treated how you should be being treated by your partner. This trust card, it says the situation is calling for you to have faith. This actually is about you knowing that the guy you're with, or your partner, sorry, I don't want to say guy, I do have a bigger feeling that this group is female. Doesn't mean you can't be with another female partner. It just feels the energy that you're in a relationship with, they're more in their wounded masculine energy. This card here is calling for you to trust your intuition. You've seen signs, you've seen their anger and their temper, and they're always, this person is often ordering you around, telling you what to do, what you should wear. When they're just not happy, they're taking it out on you, and you're just there trying to make them happy, be sweet and kind and loving, and they just have this huge wall up against you. And this might not be all the time, but it's happened so regularly that you're just tired of going through these phases with them. This card is a very powerful card to get. Its main thing is saying that it's time to take back control of your life. And if you see it's a unicorn and it feels stuck where it is, but if it just stood up, it could walk right over top of that fence. And the fence seems intimidating, but it can't actually physically stop it from leaving. And Spirit's trying to tell you, you're not as stuck there as you think. You feel like you don't have any control or power. That's not true. It's just the mindset you've been put in, and it's not your fault. I feel like this is a very toxic relationship for you, it's caused you a lot of pain and a lot of confusion, and you've felt this way for a long time. This card here, so it's interesting that it says, love is what sets me free. I'm married to my own soul. It's time to go into a phase where you all are honoring yourselves and you're not being bullied or mistreated by this other person any longer. And I find it so interesting. It's almost like their cards are over here for you and your cards over here. And it's just saying, like, you feel like you're alone and isolated, but you're not. It says you do have community out there that wants to help you. And Spirit is, if you ask them for help, if you ask the angels for help getting out of this, they're going to help send you the people to get there to help you. And some of you are saying, like, well, I've wanted to leave them, but I am financially dependent on this person. And there is a lot of fear for you all around that. But that isn't a good excuse to stay in this anymore. It's saying, let go. You are going to be okay. You will find a way. It's time to leave. What your fears about your finances, some of them have been put there due to just your limiting beliefs around your upbringing, and some of them have been put on you from other, I want to say, female figures in your life, like a mother or a grandmother who's saying, well, what are you going to do? You won't be able to support yourself. And that's not true. You're going to find a way. Because right now, the situation you're living in is not living. And then here it does say you're just going to have to balance career and home life. And that's okay. So I feel like some of you haven't worked in a while, and that's why you're a little bit afraid. You've almost forgotten how independent you are and how able you are to do all this for yourself. Spirit is saying now is a good time to be breaking off this relationship. That it says the perfect time for you to start new projects, access new ideas, and give birth to new conditions. And it just means the energies going around right now in the universe, where you are in your life, there's more support that's out there for you so that you can successfully leave them. And I feel like some of you have almost left them several times, but then your beliefs around what you deserve and your fear of being alone or by yourself to do all this has brought you back. If you look at all these cards, all these women look so powerful and so strong. So there is just a call to like face your emotions and face your fear. You are going to be happy after this. You're going to find joy that you didn't know you had, a sense of freedom. And some people are lost when they get out of a toxic relationship like this. But I think for you, it's just, there's going to be so much gratitude, and it's going to bring out a side of playfulness and laughter and lightness that you haven't felt in a really long time. I did write some little messages and then I put them all in a bag to see what your higher self wants to tell you or wants you to know. I'm just gonna pull a few for you. Okay, what does your higher self, pile 1, want you to know about this connection? We do not have the right to feel helpless. We must help ourselves. After destiny has delivered what it delivers, we are responsible for our lives. My writing's not great. So it just means, I think you really have been in this relationship for a long time, to the point now where you have to take action for yourself. And that is easier said than done. But if you want change, this is how you have to get it. You have to stand up for yourself. Toxic relationship kind of self-expresses itself there. No one can rescue me. I know because I've already tried to get them to do it. It doesn't work. This is up to me. So that's pretty powerful. And this is what your higher self wants you to know. So it is within your ability. You know, it's really scary and it's really nerve-wracking. And you probably didn't want to hear this in this card reading. I think you probably came here hoping, oh, maybe there's a glimmer of hope here or something to hang on to. But everything's saying, you know, in your heart what you need to do. And you need to take time to honestly discuss that with yourself. Last one. How you love yourself is how you teach others to love you. It's the other thing I've seen that in your root chakra here is why you ever even attracted this relationship to begin with is because of your childhood or even your teenage years. You just had people treating you like this. I think it's probably this parental figure who's also made you feel bad for leaving this relationship. You might have to stand up to two people here, not just this partner, but also I want to say a mother or a mother-like figure. And because she either treated you like this person is treating you just in relationship dynamics and emotional manipulation and control, or she herself had a partner that was like that to her and she hasn't dealt with her stuff. And you might just be here to break those ancestral patterns and be one of the first ones in your family to demand better, get better for yourself. And if you have kids, set a good role model for them of what everyone deserves, and that everyone deserves to be treated with more respect and kindness and love. And so there is like a lot of self-love work that needs to happen here. It says how you love yourself is how you teach others to love you. I'm not sure if that needs any more clarification, but if you haven't heard that before, it's like saying, if you don't love yourself and if you beat yourself up in your own head, other people are going to think they have the right to treat you like that, even if it feels gross, because you aren't even respecting yourself enough to treat yourself better. Sorry, this all sounds so harsh, but I feel like the energy I'm coming at this with is that you guys all know this, and people around you haven't been honest with you about it, or they've been saying, oh, you know, it's not that bad, or what are you going to do without them? And like Spirit's really giving me like hard energy. They're like, you need to be very direct with this group. They know it's a good time. Right now is a great time I'm not sure what's happening in each person's individual life, but there's just something around this energy that is going to support a lot of you in leaving this relationship and starting your new beginnings and working on voicing how you feel and standing up for yourself and really, really clearing those limiting beliefs and working on your inner child. If you don't know what inner child work is, my number one recommendation is to listen to a podcast about it. This is actually very interesting because today I was contemplating, which I've never even thought about doing, suggesting podcasts to certain piles, and I was going to write down a bunch of them, and I started to, but then I changed my mind. But for you, pile one, I would strongly recommend listening to the podcast by Christine Hassler. It's called On With It and Over It. And she really works on that inner child wounding, on embracing your healthy feminine. And she gives you a lot of free tools on how to dive deeper within yourself and really ask yourself why you've allowed this relationship to go on for so long and why you don't think you're worth more than this, because you so are. That is the main point here. I'm not trying to discourage you guys or tell you that you're bad or anything, and I'm really sorry if it comes off that way. It's really just a message of, you know, this, I might be like the second, third, fourth, fifth, 20th love pick a card reading you've looked at. Their spirit's just saying, no more. This is the message. Listen, take action. No one's gonna save you. You have to do the work yourself. I did write down a bunch of different messages that the higher self of your partner would want you to know. And I'm just gonna pull a few from that bag. So higher self means it's the more honest part of them. First message: you're my twin flame. Oh boy. That actually makes sense why it could be hard to leave them. Twin flames often are not healthy relationships, is the best way to put that. It doesn't mean that they all aren't, but a lot of times they're the most chaotic relationship you can get into because there's really strong sexual attraction or chemistry there, but you both trigger each other, and that's just like the nature of twin flames. It causes a lot of growing up, and sometimes the biggest lesson we learn from our twin flames is that we have to leave them. And without a doubt, what I'm getting from this reading is that it's hard to leave them, but it's important to leave them. They're here to teach you to demand better for yourself. Next one is, I'm sorry I hurt you. I want your forgiveness. This is the best I can and know how to treat you. So when I was writing these messages out, when I wrote this one, I was thinking of a narcissist relationship, interesting enough, because I felt like this person wants your forgiveness, but as I was writing it, I was thinking they don't deserve it necessarily, but this is the best. How they're treating you now is the best they can treat you, and they're doing the best they can. So if you don't like it, you've got to leave, because it's just going to keep reoccurring like this. I didn't only write negative messages, but it just seems like those are the ones you guys are getting because this is the energy of your partner. Okay, we'll pull another one. I want to love you, but I'm not ready right now. I need to work on myself first. Sorry guys, it's not easy to hear. And then the other one is, you're the sexiest thing I've ever laid eyes on. I'm not going anywhere. And oof. So I think that, I mean, that is nice to say that. There's obviously quite an attraction there that validates the twin flame, but it's also saying that they have no plans on changing their behavior or leaving you. You are going to have to leave them, because if they're not able to do their work to become a healthier person for you, you can't make them do that work. Yeah. Moving on to part 2 of this reading, what can you do to call in the partner that is going to be a healthier and higher relationship for you? It definitely starts with recognizing your own worth and your own right to feeling love and divine love. I would recommend looking into some grounding meditations for you, even to get out of this relationship. Sorry, I hadn't really noticed this message. But when you're scared, you're not feeling good, you're often going to be out of your body somewhere better. And if you ground yourself, do a grounding meditation, do those 4 deep breaths, it's going to help bring clarity to your thoughts. And you're going to realize that you're really quite done with this situation if you're not sure now. Because right now, you're not in your body, you're somewhere else, so you're only half feeling all of this, which might make it intimidating to ground yourself. But if you're getting out, you need to be in the now energy so you can get the heck out of there. So this card here just even says, the mystic of peace. When my mind is clear, the way is clear. So it's, yeah, very important to be grounded. Let your heart be a compass. The path of love is true abundance. So don't worry about the money. You're going to be fine in the long run. If you're happy and not in this toxicity, there's going to be so much more loving energy able to come to you, because right now it's being a bit blocked out by all this negativity. And then so the self-love bit where it says, I have nothing to hide. I see and accept all that I am. It's very powerful. And it just goes into the having to go in and work on the inner child work. So listen to some podcasts, read up or listen to podcasts on narcissistic relationships, and find examples of the situations where narcissists are gaslighting people and people don't even fully realize it. I think you might be surprised with how much you might relate to that type of relationship with a narcissist. So sorry, getting back to how you can call in a healthier relationship, it's saying to start stepping into your own power and honoring your own limits. Don't just say yes mindlessly to going and doing things with people. Like, make sure it's a full body yes, that you feel like you have the energy, the want, and the joy to do the activity that you're being asked to do. And try to spend more time in nature. It really helps us come back to ourselves. It just holds so much space for us that other human beings can't always hold. And then if you look at this, it says Our Lady of the Hermit. So this is just saying, like, yes, it is important to take time to go within yourself. And says transform pain and suffering into a greater capacity to love. So you really, there's a bit of a block in the root chakra and the sacral. And the sacral is like your passion for life. It's not just your sexuality. That being said, I do feel like if you're in a relationship with someone that is a bit toxic, it's really hard to feel like fully sexually open with someone, and a lot of us will even close ourselves off more. So there could be a few things there with passion, sexuality, your feminine energy, even feeling safe to be feminine and female, and knowing what a strong feminine looks like. I think your perception of that has been a bit twisted, and it's not at all your fault. In our society, we teach women to be a certain way, but it depowers us. Once you start doing all this work and you don't put focus on your next relationship, finding another guy, finding, like, often we'll look for a healthier man, but when we're still stuck in all our same limiting beliefs and our patterns and our habits and our belief on what we're worthy of and love, we will just attract the same person but in a different package, is how I want it. We're going to attract the same person but just in a different package. And it says, like, here it's saying, like, just take time to go within yourself, and you're gonna find that through this process, when you're not looking for it, you will find the right person for you. They are gonna be able to hold space for you, accept you for who you are, and they're not gonna use your vulnerabilities against you, your traumas against you, or your insecurities against you. But right now, you're not someone who can be the same container for them for all those things. So you have to do your own work before you yourself are ready and healthy enough to attract in that partner that you want. There is an angel or a guide that does test us on our willingness and our beliefs and values, and they don't do it in a mean way. They just do it so that we tell them we've learned our lesson. So after you leave this relationship, there's going to be a bunch of people, like, you're going to feel like you have a lot of male attention or female attention, but those are all the ones you don't want. And I don't want to say that as a 100% thing, but more than likely it's just the universe testing you to see, are you going to set boundaries? Are you going to prioritize yourself? Or are you just going to take the easy way out and just date the same man or woman that has who is this dynamic, but in a different package or a different body? And once they all go away and you're thinking, no one's interested in me anymore, no, that's good. It means the universe is shifting things and changing things so that your person comes in alignment with you. They're not going to give you all these pieces of junk. They are going to give you the one who's in alignment with you, who's doing your work and defining what you deserve. All right. Just double check if there's any other messages here. So if you're wondering, like, why do I have all these horrible relationships? You may find yourself later on giving other women or young men advice on how to overcome relationships like this. That is, it might not be like an official job. It might just be that these young people are attracted to you. And it's funny, I want to say young men or women of any age. They might be young, they might be middle-aged, they could even be older, who are trying to leave relationships like this, but they don't even realize how bad they are for them. You're gonna have some sort of influence on people like that. And then, just as a little reminder, the angels are saying that you have to ask for help, and you have to be open to receiving it, and they'll be so happy to help you. So be open to receiving divine guidance and assistance. You deserve heaven's help. You are deserving of it. And that you might have a little bit of a block around seeing that you are being guided and that you are worthy of that guidance. So no, if you feel like you see signs, they are signs. They are the angels reaching out to you and trying to help you. Don't be afraid of that. And when you're looking for this new soulmate, it just has a little warning here that your soulmate may differ from your usual type and expectations. And that's actually good because we think we have a type we like, but it turns out we just like that type because we're attracted to all those flaws, and that's the way we've been treated up until now. So your soulmate is going to be someone you're never going to expect, and that's good. It means things have changed. And then this is just like another little validation on your current relationship. It says there's not enough attraction or chemistry to keep this relationship going, and I don't think it means it on a physical level. It means it on the emotional, spiritual level. To sum things up, I'm going to recommend Christine Hassler's podcast or webpage. I'm going to recommend self-love affirmations about being open to receiving in all its positive forms. Saying that, as well as grounding yourself and listening to meditation or finding other ways to ground yourself. If you go outside, it's grounding. Breathing is grounding. Yeah, I'm sure you can find more ways that will resonate with you. Spirit's on your side, so I know you're going to be fine. You just have to find the courage within yourselves to take those action steps. As I was clearing away some of the other cards, I did notice that I overlooked a very loud message to protect and shield yourself and your energy. Look up energy shielding, and I would recommend it's going to be white light shield, a white light bubble. And when I think of white light, I don't think of solid white light. I think about the white light that has every color in it reflecting things. That's going to be really good and really protective, and it's going to help keep out all the grossness that this person is putting on you, and so that you don't feel it either. You have been taking on a lot of their gunk, and this is just going to help get rid of some of that. So look up energy shielding as well. Sorry, that is a lot of homework for you, but I want to give you a lot of tools to allow you to feel the most empowered you can to leave this relationship. Hello, pile 2. You chose Rose Quartz Heart and the Woman's Bodies, Woman Wisdom Healing cards, and I did throw in a bunch of other ones as well. Yeah, I'll attach them in the description box below if you want to know exactly which ones. And we're just going to get started right away. I have a lot of cards for you all. Enlighten heart and mind, complete and move on. Better put them a little bit higher so I have enough room. Hierarchy versus partnership. Flexibility within and structure. Imagine and allow. Complete and move on. Regroup. Complete and move on. Partnership. Enlighten heart and mind, imagine and allow. Open your heart to give and receive the highest energy of all. It is safe for you to love. Separation. Time apart from your partner is on the horizon. Soulmate. Yes, this is your soulmate. Romantic feelings. Your feelings are real and worth exploring. Healing family issues. Your love life benefits as you forgive your parents. There's more. You take excellent care of yourself, everybody benefits. Give yourself relaxation, salt bath or pedicure. Archangel Gabrielle. You have an important life purpose involving communication. You deserve the best. Reach for the stars with your dreams and desires and don't compromise. This angel brings you peace and tranquility and a smoother road ahead. Schooling and studying, personal growth. Star Brothers honors energy, protection, loyalty, safety, and trust. Big picture thinking. Baby steps. Longing for home, homesick. Focused intentions. Sensitivity. Guardian. You and your loved ones are safe and spiritually protected. You are a channel for divine healing power. Unleash your adventurous side. Take risks and be daring. Go now. Father, husband, brother, son. Focus upon your strength. Yeah, definitely a lot of cards. I'm just going to take a second to rearrange them so I can see them all better. We're diving in. What messages does Spirit have for you about your current partnership or the one this pile's calling in? And I feel like a lot of you are calling in a partnership and are about to meet someone. And then there are some of you here who have been with someone, but you're trying to go deeper now, or they want you to go deeper. For some of you here, you haven't been able to visualize your future, and you've denied yourself to have dreams. If I were to ask some of you to close your eyes, now picture your dream house, dream job, what does it make you feel like? Some of you would not know what to do. And it's odd to see this because I get the vibe. You are all very passionate people and you can get really excited about your ideas, hobbies, creative endeavors. There's a disconnect when it comes to being able to see a future for yourself. This pile feels a little uncertain, a bit lost. And you're kind of asking, where do you go? Where am I going? For your relationship, you're being called to work on your fatherhood wound so that you can create space to go deeper with your current partner, or because there is a healthy soulmate male partner coming in and they can't come in until this wounding has been addressed. And it doesn't mean you have to be perfectly healed, but you have to dive into it. So a lot of you have been hurt by a man in your life. It could have been a brother, grandfather, uncle, dad. I won't even want to say maybe male friends growing up. There is definitely a theme here where you have all had some form of male wounding. And because of this hurt that you've felt when you've been vulnerable in a partnership or in a relationship with a man, you've had a block here when it comes to opening yourself up and going deeper. Take this time to reconnect with yourself and go within yourself and ask, what do you want for yourself? And I feel like there's been a lot of people in your life who have told you what you are able to do or what you should be able to do, and they've put limits on you that have kind of crept into your belief systems. feel like you are very spiritually gifted. Like some of you should look into Reiki or some form of energy healing or channeling of any kind. Whatever this is, you are going to seek like a school out for it. It could honestly even be like massage therapy, but then you bring a spiritual aspect to it or anything like that. Any kind of a healing career, but your own spirituality will bring in its unique healing into it. Because you are spiritually sensitive, they are saying that you need to up your spiritual protection. Begin with looking into energy shielding. And if you are doing that, maybe just remember to do it every day. Or if you're in places like hospitals or restaurants often, you do have to reshield yourself more often because there's a lot of negative energy that hangs out there. Those of you that are in a partnership right now, there is confirmations here that yes, they are your soulmate. Your feelings are real and worth exploring. Go deeper. And then the reminder to heal the wounding you had with your parent because it is affecting your relationship. You have to seek forgiveness, and it doesn't mean you have to justify what they did, but the forgiveness is for you so that you aren't holding on to that hurt and the anger, and I want to see even maybe a little bit of bitterness towards them because that energy is staying stuck there. I always say remember the lesson, but let the emotions go so it doesn't hold you back and will allow a new, deeper chapter to come in for you and your partner. Just take baby steps, follow your tuition before it makes sense. So trust what you're getting. You are very psychically, intuitively people, and you'll do just fine. You know what's best for you. Definitely an energy that you are not originally human souls. You were some sort of star seeds. You could be from anywhere. It is just a general reading, but it says sometimes that could also be why you're so psychically gifted. But that also means that that could also be another reason why you feel so closed off here is the human world feels so hard and unforgiving compared to where your soul's originally from. And you just, on a soul level, long for like people who are similar to where you came from. And knowing that might give you some clarity on why you feel like some people are just so mean and you can't understand them. You are different. You're not from here. Just focus your intentions. Keep your unwavering thoughts, feelings, and actions focused on your target. You will make your mark. Yeah, I feel like there is just like a lot of confusion for you, and you'll get an idea, and perhaps you start doubting yourself or taking on other worries. Or I feel like for you guys, you give away a lot of your energy to other people, and this is a time to focus more on yourselves and what you need and reconnecting with yourself, going deeper into those limiting beliefs and those woundings. The soulmate that's coming in, you guys have been together in other lifetimes. You definitely, on a soul level, will recognize them, and they'll offer you a sense of safety, loyalty, and trust. And yeah, the angels just say don't forget to ask them for help here. It says, the angel of peace, I bring you new tranquility and a smoother road ahead. Just offering up your fears or insecurities to them. Okay. Allow yourself to imagine the best things for you. Like, allow yourself to dream and find it attainable to have all these great things for yourself. You are deserving of them all. If any of you have a lot of neck pain, it could just be a message saying there's something bothering you, but you aren't fully acknowledging how much it is bothering you. Like, you're like, oh, it's not that big of a deal, I'm fine. It's like you're refusing to see just how much it is emotionally affecting you. And then I did pull a few messages that I wrote out earlier where I asked for messages from both your higher self, and then I asked for messages from the higher self of your partner, your current partner, or the one that you're trying to call in. So I'll start with the messages from your higher self. I just gotta pull them here. Ooh, all right, got a handful here. All right. Self-love. It doesn't mean that everyone will treat you the way you deserve. It means that you won't let them change you or stick around. Okay. So that one to me just means making sure you're setting your boundaries and knowing that if you love yourself enough, you won't take people's disrespect, people's just unkindness towards you, because they're not going to change. They're just going to keep being that way, especially if you've known them for a while. Next one from your higher self. Your relationship with yourself sets the tone for every other relationship you have. So just really being aware of your unconscious thoughts towards yourself that you say in your head when you're thinking about if you did good at something or not, your value that you might not realize you've placed on yourself, and the priority that you believe yourself to be. Okay, another one. Be enough for yourself first. The rest of the world can wait. You have the ability to love. Love yourself first. No one can give you that love if you don't think you yourself are worthy of loving. So there's definitely a theme here of maybe another issue to why you guys are either in a relationship that you feel like it needs to go deeper or hasn't gone very deep, or you just want it to be with someone that treats you better and more lovingly, or you're trying to attract it in. You need to work on how you are manifesting that. Meaning, if you're thinking in your head all these negative things and you don't even really like yourself and you don't really talk to yourself great, the universe can't bring you in someone who's going to love you endlessly because you can't even accept that love from yourself. You'll literally push their love away from you. Another message: you are enough, 1,000 times enough. Your higher self knows your value. You just gotta listen to it. Gonna love myself. No, I don't need anybody else. That's actually really important because it means that you're not finding a partnership because you need someone to find value or need someone to make yourself feel appreciated. You want a partnership because you've been able to be independent and acquire all those emotional needs you need for yourself, but now you're ready to share them with someone. And last one from your higher self: be so completely yourself that everyone else feels safe to be themselves too. That's really important. If you're not being yourself, how are you gonna call in a vulnerable partner to also feel comfortable being themselves if you're not being real and vulnerable with them? All right, I'm gonna read you the ones from your current partner's higher self or the soulmate that you're trying to call in. Okay, first one. We'll always have our love for one another. It's in our better interest to part ways. So it's interesting because I did see separation here, and I did think I'm no way saying to any of you to get out of a relationship with someone that you're with, but if you've been feeling like this or your partner has discussed this with you and it resonates with you and feels right, I feel like the partner that you're with is the soulmate they're talking about, but you're both just needing time to work on yourselves to come back together and be stronger. And this really isn't for everyone, and please, this is a general reading, so if you go and break up with your partner and you don't end up back with them, like, don't come at me with horrible messages. It could also mean that there is this soulmate energy coming in once you've done the work, and it might not be with that same person. There, it is a general reading. There is a little bit of a mix on 2 messages, 3 messages here. Just follow your intuition. That's all this is for helping validate, confirm your intuition and what you've already have felt is true for you when you go within yourself. Okay, another one from their higher self. Although you aren't my first love, you are my greatest. Aw, that's really sweet. I know that really just resonates with some of us who are with someone and they might have had a lot of relationships before us or long-term relationships before us, and sometimes we compare ourselves to them and wonder if we're as good as them or something like that. That's just saying, don't worry about it, because I've loved someone before. You are my greatest love. Next one, I love you. I want us to go deeper with each other. So that's definitely for that group where you're been in a relationship, but you're calling in a deeper connection. And it looks like your partner also really wants that connection to go deeper as well. My heart skips a beat when I watch you walk into a room. Oh, that's really sweet. So obviously very attracted to you guys. Pile 2. Very attracted. The love I feel for you can't be described. The emotions are too great, which definitely goes with the soulmate vibes, because it's not only is it, I guess that's the other thing I should mention. One thing I noticed with soulmate energy is that it's not super sexually aggressive necessarily. It's always very like your soul first and then the physical. And so you might be like, oh, I don't want that, but it's actually so much better and more healing in the long run. And it's just more of like a soul on soul, true, deep, emotionally safe connection where there is still physical attraction, but the soul comes first. Just back to the star seed note. If you are probably going to be a lot more sensitive to things. So you might be very empathic, or you might just be energetically sensitive to your environments and to things that unfortunately other people aren't as sensitive to. If you go to someone's house and you get the heebie-jeebies, you really do have to make sure you guys are shielding yourselves, because you are attracting some of these things to come home with you or come into your spaces. And there is a solution on how to fix that, but it's just better to not have that happen in the first place. Saves you the time and the energy of having to deal with it. Be mindful of the chemicals you use, or like skin products you use. Some organic food is better to buy than other foods. If you look into like the highest pesticide foods, I can't quite remember them all, but I know like bell peppers, strawberries, cherries, tomatoes, and I can't remember the other ones, but it's like a lot of really soft foods are really absorbent in the pesticides get put on them, so those ones might be worth you either avoiding or maybe buying organic with no pesticides on them. Like look into stuff like that if you've been noticing you've been having reactions to things, or if you're just needing this as a little reminder to take better care of yourself. Definitely a lot about being a light worker. I said that once already, but there's just so many things about you channeling energy in for people. I honestly really feel like it's going to be Reiki energy. Like you might not go in to Reiki energy intentionally, but whatever practice you go into when you're channeling accidentally, I think you do it accidentally, but you're just so connected. It is essentially the same as Reiki energy, where it comes from the higher source above, comes within us, and then you're helping channel it into those who need it. So it's just really beautiful. Funny that I'm talking more about you guys than I am about so much a romance reading, but it feels important. Like this is what you need to get to that relationship that you're wanting. Okay, and as I had said, that sometimes you might attract some grossness just because of your sensitivity and maybe not being energetically protected with an energy shield. In your house specifically, you need to get it cleared, and you can do it yourself. I would buy specifically sage for this. Go around your house, open the windows. I'll say it slowly so that you can either remember it, write it down, or listen to it again. You're going to say, into the smoke, I release all energies that no longer serve me. I release all fears that limit me. I release any energetic cords, attachments, and I call in love and light into this space. So I'll say it again. Into the smoke, I release all energies that no longer serve me. I release all fears that limit me. I release any energetic cords and attachments, and I call in love and light. And you're going to say this, go around through your house, and it's out. Sorry, I'm getting tongue-tied. I feel like you're all freaking out. Do not freak out. It's just natural that it happens, but it's just saying that your spaces have some gunk and some cloudy stuff that you can get out just by doing this. And if you go around your house in a clockwise direction, always intentionally or visualize pushing the gross stuff out the window and say it's not welcome back at the end of it all. All right, it's not an overwhelming thing. It's just seems really heavy, but it's not. It's something that I do regularly because I do sometimes forget to energy shield and I attract gross things into my house, and you don't freak out about it. You just know that it's time to clear things out. Like dust bunnies. You're just clearing out the dust bunnies in your house. Okay. It's really important to do for this group because I just see that your living situation needs a clearing. And if you still feel uncomfortable after clearing it, what I recommend is to do a clearing every day until you don't feel uncomfortable. And that seems like way overkill, but part of your anxiety and your paranoia about bringing it back can sometimes call it back in. So if I sage every day, there gets to be a point where I'm like, there can't possibly be anything gross left stuck in any corner because I've gotten every corner at this point. And for some of you, that might need to be what you do. Do it. It's worth it. It's going to make you feel way more peaceful. Yeah. Gonna pull a couple cards from the Truth Serum Oracle cards because I really like them. Here we go. Accept no one else's definition of you define yourself. This is really important for you guys because I feel like this has happened somewhere in your subconscious, in your upbringing, that there's some things that you've allowed other people to make you feel is true for you that isn't. And oh yeah, purple. It's so funny. There's so much purple on your cards. It just means you've got to work on clearing your crown chakra. If you do meditations around that, that would be great. Or if you just, once again, so much information on the internet, you can Google how to unblock your crown chakra. And I don't necessarily recommend doing any opening or expanding exercises because sometimes that will open it too big and then it just slams shut again. So I just always recommend on doing balancing. Always do the balancing healing for chakras. Next one is reevaluate what you are willing to compromise on. This is good for those who are in relationship now, who are trying to call in like a higher, deeper connection, and just knowing what would make you happy to compromise on, what are your non-compromising things, just knowing yourself better and what you want. And then also for you who are calling in that higher partnership to know same thing, your boundaries, what you want, because you've got to communicate them to your partners because they can't read your minds and you have to know ahead of time what it is that you want. It just helps everyone out. Same thing, purple. So definitely in a spiritually growing time, and soulmate energy is very spiritually connected because they are seeking out higher conscious relationships. So that's really awesome to see, guys. There is a giving receiving block here as well, and it's kind of tied with maybe not having a lot of self-love or self-appreciation. I'm pretty big on the affirmations for that. I think it's the most small steps you can take. Also, maybe taking time to do things for yourself, like having an Epsom salt bath with essential oils or something like that. It would also help you with the not taking on other people's energies, clearing that stuff out from your body, and also tells your body that you are prioritizing yourself and valuing yourself. I feel like even like doing a skincare routine would be very valuable for you guys. Not because you have bad skin, but because it's just self-care and your body's really craving self-care from you. And then consider getting into like yoga or a meditation routine where you take time. I also want to say journaling as well, where you just take time to connect your mind to your heart, because a lot of times you're thinking things but you're not feeling them, like you're not going within and knowing how you feel about it. You're just thinking about why something's like that, or maybe this is why, or this might be a good thing to do, but you're not connecting with what you truly do want to do. Yeah, and sorry, final messages here. Don't be afraid to be bold. This is your time. You're gonna find your way, you're gonna find your passions. Just really allow yourself to imagine. Don't limit yourself on what you think you're able to do or what you're deserving of. And if there's anything that doesn't serve you, move on from it, finish it, and find the thing that you're passionate about. I think you could also benefit from like taking once a month time to, I'm going to say even like full moon rituals where it's like self-care, you regroup, you talk about what you want to release, what you want to come in, and just what you have as goals for yourself for that month. It could be beneficial for you if you feel called to that. It is also another step to take where it's showing yourself that you are taking the time to prioritize yourself and what you want in your future. Yeah, I think that's all I've got for you guys. I hope this answered your questions. I wasn't really expecting it to go so much about yourselves, but it does make sense. You are in the relationship, so we should get lots of information about you. Not so much about your partner, because I feel like for a lot of you, they're coming in or they're wanting a deeper connection, but they're just needing you to do some work and see your value so that they can go deeper with you. Yeah, well, I hope you guys have a good day, and I'll see you around. Hello, pile 3. All right, we have a ton of cards here for you, and a lot of them are from different decks. The main one that you chose from is the healing cards, a daily practice for maintaining spiritual balance. All right, so we are going to see what you got. Go now. Listen. Come out of the closet. Health and healing. Yoga. Purification. Now is now. Are you going to be here or not? The soul is on earth for its own delight. Illness is not a punishment, but a stimulation to live. Illness is not a punishment, but a stimulant to life. Resisting change leads to illness. Accepting change brings about peace. May all creations dance for joy within you. To heal illness begins by restoring balance. Hope is nature's way of enabling us to survive so that we can discover nature itself. God didn't create any illness without also creating the remedy. Constantly maintaining alertness in walking, sitting, eating, and sleeping. Whatever is exposed to light itself becomes light. You deserve love. You are lovable. Passion. Allow your heart and soul to sing with joy. Retreat. It's time to disconnect from the world. Let your friends help you. Ask for and accept support from others. Forgiving and learning. As you release and heal the past, you experience more love in your present moment. Love yourself first. Your self-respect makes you more romantically attractive. Running out of room here. I don't think you can see them all, but yoga and exercise are essential to your well-being, peace of mind, and spiritual growth right now. Wow, you have 2 yoga cards. I think they're communicating a message here. To help heal this situation, see other person's point of view with compassion. It's safe for you to be powerful. You have a special bond with animals. What do you desire right now? Visualize it and it will come about. Negativity will block your progress. I should go up here. You are confused and indecisive because you do not have enough information. Do you research or seek expert advice before making a decision? I am the angel of marriage and I am assisting you right now. Okay, I'm just going to take a second and take in all these cards here. There's a crazy amount of different things happening in this pile. Energy I'm sorry, I can't even speak. The energy that I'm channeling in is so confusing, and I feel like a lot of it's coming from you feeling that confused. So I'm just gonna break it down card by card until I get my head around all this stuff that's happening. It's like a millions of things. No wonder why it says here that you're like overthinking, worrying a lot in all areas, worrying for other people, worrying about how things are going to turn out, how you're going to look. This is a reading asking, is your current relationship supportive for you? And how do you call in your partner or the higher relationship or higher consciousness from your partner into the relationship you're currently in? And there is a few different situations happening here. Some of you are married. I want to say most of you are married or have been in a partnership for a long time. The dynamics are very interesting in this partnership, to say the least. I get soulmate vibes, but not all soulmates are for life. They're just souls we've agreed to come into this lifetime with to learn from each other and be with each other and a big influence for each other for a long time. And for some of you, it's not that you can't find love again, but for some of you, you do need to take a break from this partnership, and it's mostly coming from what your cards are saying, from your side. You do not think you are deserving of love, and I feel like some of you have actually had a lot of health issues recently, or I think they're like chronic, like back pains and body pains and strange autoimmune problems, and it's all coming from these issues in your what you believe you yourself deserve. Sorry, I'm just really taking a look. You really have so much going on here. I feel so much compassion towards you guys because your heads must feel like you're going to explode. So this is not going to be all of you, but there are some people here who are coming out of a marriage or a long-term partnership, and you are well, I don't think you're straight, and this is not everyone here, but there's like a very strong two messages coming here. You are not straight. You are realizing this, you're coming to terms with it, and you're having a lot of questions about it, like who you're going to disappoint, if this is selfish or not for you to be doing, you name it, you're thinking about it. That is pretty heavy. And if this is the scenario for you, it is saying it's time to change. This guy right here, sorry, I don't know if I'll say his name right, Serapis Bay, his card says go now. He is actually like an Egyptian god, is like a life coach. He helps motivate people to take good care of themselves, physically, spiritually, and emotionally. You call him into your life when you need help finding the energy and motivation to take action. And he also just calls you to leave a toxic relationship, quit a job, move to a new location, start a new project, take a vacation, whatever it is that you are needing in your life. No more excuses. Go for it. Do it. It's a good time. The universe is in a position where it's supporting you in this move that you're needing. And those of you um, who are leaving a heterosexual relationship and considering going the other way, it's literally saying, like, go do drag, go do those dances, dress up, like, just be completely and utterly you. That message is not for anyone. The other one that's kind of like layered over top of that for the other half of you is that when it says come out of the closet, it just means come out of your shell. Be your true authentic self and don't be worried about how you're going to be perceived. People are going to love you. And I would actually recommend for that group, if obviously I'm never going to force someone to do anything, but get in touch with like your fun, sexy side. That is so strange to say on a bigger card, but it's like I just like instantly got the image of some of you loving one of those girls' nights where you go and you do like a funny, sexy chair dance and you go with your friends and everyone laughs and they have a great time because it's a little bit awkward, yet it's so fun and empowering at the same time. And this card literally says, may all, sorry, I'll actually read the back of it. Ugh, I'm losing all the cards. All you want to do today is love being alive, even if it's the hardest thing you've ever done. Appreciate the sound, the sights, the sensations of your life, friends, books, ideas, even sleep. Just enjoy it. And it's literally about finding your passion and the lightheartedness in life. And dancing is the best way to get our bodies moving and like shake out all that stagnant energy. So if you feel like being brave, I would recommend going and doing something fun like that. It doesn't have to be that specific thing, but just that idea of creating movement within your body and doing things that are a bit awkward that just make you genuinely laugh. And then just moving over to these two yoga cards. When I see that, it is a really big sign that your body is craving movement of some sort. Yoga is good because it causes you to be more connected with your body and be more in tune with how it moves in small, intricate ways. So if you've been considering doing that, that'd be great. It's really, yeah, it's really just asking you to take the time to stop thinking so much, worrying about others, worrying about situations, and go within yourself. And then there's this pretty strong repeating message around like I just feel like either you've had chronic pain for a long time and you're getting to the point where it can turn into something very serious. I don't want to say terminal exactly, but it will greatly affect your life. And there's so many things here saying for your situation specifically, it's these emotions and these belief systems that I want to say you've believed your entire lives or most of your lives that have been suppressed. And if you've ever heard of the book The Body Keeps the Score, it's literally a doctor who has recognized that people who don't express their emotions, feel their emotions, and just shove it down, never look at their limiting belief systems, get sick. And it's not a punishment, it's just you haven't listened to your body. It doesn't know how to communicate with you, so it's just doing it in any way it can. And this way is really, really hard for us to accept, but it's just like our body's last stand on what can it possibly do. It can throw the biggest tantrum possible for you to acknowledge what it's needing from you. Back to this yoga guy specifically, something that I forgot to mention is he was known for overcoming all physical limitations, and he was just like a huge yoga fiend. Can I actually ever heal from this? It's saying that yes, like um you can, whatever is happening, it needs your acknowledgement and you putting in the time to fix it. And also doing yoga is going to connect you to your psychic abilities, which also might have been suppressed for some time. You might even see some things, but you never voice them, to the point now where I think you don't remember having seen any of it. The moment you start to accept or acknowledge that you are psychically inclined, you may find yourself remembering things that you've seen in the past, or situations that maybe you felt uncomfortable with, but now you'll remember why you did or what was there that made you feel uncomfortable. Getting back to the relationship aspect of this, I did write down a bunch of little notes and then I pulled some. So I had a pile where I said, what messages are from your higher self that it wants you to know right now for pile 3? And I got 4, which added to the confusion a little bit of what some of them say. So I have one that says secure attachment style and one that said avoidant attachment style, and I pulled them at exactly the same time. So if you like whatever relationship you're currently in, I don't know for sure, and this is a general reading, but my impression with just like everything that's happening here is I think you might be the avoidant attachment style, and then the person you're with is the secure one, which also just adds to the confusion on. I'm no way saying that your partner is perfect, but I think a lot of the issues in your relationship kind of stem from your wounding and your lack of ability to love yourself and see your own value. You often hear this expression where people say someone else can't love you if you don't love yourself, and it's just because you don't think you're deserving of the love and you push it away, or you think they're deceiving you or lying to you. But really it's like your own ego just getting in the way. And the only way to really fix that, honestly, is to go within and find those limiting beliefs and why they're there, and then release them. Okay, sorry, I have a couple more from messages from your higher self to you. Daring to set boundaries is about having the courage to love ourselves even when we risk disappointing others. Whew, that does explain all your yellow. After reading that, I do get the impression that you guys, I don't often see cards in card readings that say take time to sleep, but I think it means that you might give yourself to others too often. Like they want your help with something and you're just so exhausted, but you feel like you have to go and help them because that's like the right thing to do, or you can, well, it's not that much to ask for, you can just push through and do it. And it just doesn't end well for anyone. It can make you really resentful towards them in the long run, and they have no idea that they're pushing your boundaries or asking too much of you because you just say yes, and they are expecting you to set boundaries when it's needed. And some of them might not like it, but I think they're not going to take it as badly as you think. One last one, it says, people who love themselves don't hurt other people. The more we hate ourselves, the more we want others to suffer too. It's actually very interesting because this is, when I wrote this, I realized this is really sister wounding to feel this way when I find the feminine is not in its healthy feminine. We have a tendency to unconsciously be a bit meaner. And not all of us, but it's just like what the wounded feminine looks like. And it's just your higher self, I think, saying to you, like, this, like, if you ever have moments where you're like, wow, I can't believe I just said that about someone, or man, I'm like really being, I'm kind of tearing people apart, or I'm not meaning to sound so mean. It's just your higher self saying, like, hey, this, that isn't you. Like, you are so much more kind. This is just coming from that inner wounding, and it's slipping out now because I think your body in all ways is at like its max. If you don't do something about this, you don't start addressing it, whatever sickness or illness, or I keep thinking autoimmune, whatever this autoimmune thing is, it is just going to get worse. But it's not like a life sentence. You, like, everything I've seen here, usually when I get like health advice, they're always like, well, you can do this and it will help. But everything I'm seeing here is literally says God didn't create illness without also creating the remedy. And hope is nature's way of enabling us to survive so that we can discover nature itself. Illness begins by restoring balance, or sorry, to heal illness begins by restoring balance. Like, everything's saying that this condition can at least get better or be healed through doing your inner child, inner wounding, limiting belief work. And that's actually amazing news. It might seem like a lot to you, but a lot of times people just kind of have to deal with a lesser form of their illness. But I think with your pile, and don't take this as a, I'm not a doctor, your is for everyone, but it's just, it seems from this card reading that a lot of you can kind of make like a miraculous recovery. Like, this is not something that you were genetically supposed to experience. It's like the result of being so hard on yourself and thinking you're so undeserving. Now, time for the messages I asked from the higher self of the person you're currently in partnership with. First one I have is, you are my soulmate, the only one I have eyes for. I don't want anyone else. And that makes sense with this secure attachment, avoidant attachment. This is not going to be the case for everyone. I always have to really, I don't want people going around breaking up with people because of some card reading on YouTube, because it's just for some of you. This relationship you're in, I want to say this marriage or like high school relationship, I think it's just fizzling out, and it's nobody's fault. It just happens, and it's really sad and it's really hard, and it does create so much confusion and uprooting. And that even could be why the soulmate was in your life. Soulmates are meant to teach us like really big life lessons, and some of them are really hard, but then what comes from them is this higher learning that our soul has craved for lifetimes. But yeah, that won't be for everyone, but it just like, it seems like the soulmate is actually a really nice person. And that's also part of the confusion for you, is that you're just like, oh, they're so great, but just something isn't there anymore. Like, the passion isn't there anymore. It says, forgive me, I did the best I knew how to do. I'm just gonna pull another one. For that, I honestly, it's strange because the energy from this person's higher self is very kind and very gentle. And when I wrote this initially, I was thinking that it would come out for a toxic person, but I don't get that energy from this one. To me, it seems like someone who's really tender-hearted, but just didn't have the knowledge or the life experience to know how to support you emotionally. It's like there are toxic relationships which are abusive, and then there's relationships where there's just issues and we clash because we just don't understand each other or have the tools to know how to communicate what we're really feeling. And a lot of those relationships can be guided and fixed and put back on track. But for this one, feel like I feel like for a lot of you, it's just like a relationship that's gonna end, but you are gonna leave each other still caring for each other. It's just gonna be one of those weird, we just aren't in love anymore in that way relationships. And I should also say there's also like a subtle vibe. Some of you are being horrified that you picked this file. There's a subtle vibe that some of you are in a relationship with your soulmate and you are going through a hard time, but you need to go retreat, stop focusing so much on them, and focus on yourself and your healing, and let other people in and support you and truly be yourself, because you're in this relationship where I think they are being themselves, but you haven't been. You might not even know who you are. Like, what would you do if you were without them? Like, what would you want to do? What are your interests? What's your favorite color? Like, what's your favorite restaurant? I want to say that. Like, have you just done what this partner wants? And it doesn't mean that you need to physically go and like not see them for a while, but it's just shifting your focus and having a conversation with them and saying, hey, I don't know who I am. This illness is waking me up, or this pain, this condition is helping me to see that I haven't been honest with myself, or I need to prioritize myself and set those boundaries, because this person, if this is the soulmate who's trying to set boundaries with, I think there might be a little bit of confusion at first and maybe even a little bit of hurt because they didn't realize they were pushing boundaries. They just thought you were okay with it. They are gonna accept it in the end. Oh, look at that. I don't I don't look at anyone else the way I look at you. So it actually is interesting because I feel like this is for those people who are more on that side of this reading where you are with the right person. It's just time for you and time for you to be honest with them about the fact that you are feeling all this junk. And let's see. You deserve better than how I treat you. Yeah, there's a lot of like contradicting things that are a little confusing. So I think, yeah. So fun for general readings. Okay, this is where I actually think this is where it's clashing a bit, because I think there is those two different energies here where there is some of you who are with the right person. You just need to take time, set your boundaries, be honest with them, have an honest conversation saying like, this is going to be hard for you, and then dive deep into those root belief systems that have made you think that you are not lovable, because you are lovable and you are supported and you are going to be okay to be you. And then there's other ones here where the person you're with, I keep thinking it's not toxic, it's just not a good relationship. It's just not good. It's not serving you. It's making you feel like a bad person, the way you treat them. You are feeling even more lost by yourself. It's causing this to get even worse, this illness thing. And it's, yeah, time to take some action here. And I'm trying to think about you guys at the start who were coming out of the closet. I'm not sure where you fit into the rest of this reading. Maybe you were only listening to the start and none of you are here anymore, but this is actually one of those moments where if you want to let me know in the comments below, that would be nice. Okay, let's see. Let's just get the stuff out of the way. Let's see what other things here that we can dive a little bit deeper into. All right, let's see what card I haven't. Okay, let's get over in here. This card here. Talk about this yet. It is interesting. It's about communication with yourself and also the divine, the angels, your guides, psychic gifts, whatever word that resonates with you. It's really, it's like calling you. A lot of this stuff is calling you to quiet your thoughts. It's a really big thing here. Quiet your thoughts, quiet your worries, and just sit with yourself and listen to your heartbeat, or try not to make anything happen. Just listen to your own thoughts. If you understand what I mean, like observe them as you try to quiet your mind, what pops up. Those are usually some of the limiting thoughts and beliefs that you might need to be clearing out. You don't need to worry about clearing them out, but it's just notice the reoccurring thoughts that you have and what limiting a belief is attached to them. And then next, because this is definitely physically related and not listening to what your body needs and the emotions having been stuck there, try to look up a meditation or something like that where it's just audio. I don't want you looking at anything. I want your eyes to be closed. And it just guides you. And I just suggest doing a guided meditation on how to listen to your body, because if you've never done it before, it's overwhelming and you don't even know how to trust it. But the crazy thing is if you sit with yourself and ask your body what it wants or what it's trying to tell you, like, it always answers. And it seems crazy to realize that most of us have never just gone and asked our bodies what's upsetting it. It's like revolutionary. I don't know why I don't teach that to all of us when we're like 2, but here we are, we're learning now. Then around the messages about the divine trying to talk to you, I think that just goes back to you guys. I think I want to say you might be more clairaudient and I keep wanting to say clairsentient, but I think you see things. I think you hear things and see things. If you allow it. I think right now you're not cognitively trusting that you are. You're thinking, most of you are thinking that I'm being crazy, but they're saying like, you see things, you hear things, you're ignoring them, and not everything psychic related is scary. It's not scary at all. Angels are very loving, and if you're worried about that, like seeing the wrong things, like you can set boundaries there. Sorry, what just came to mind as soon as I said that is Archangel Michael. You can ask him to be your divine gatekeeper, and he just basically puts his energy as a shield around your head and doesn't let you see anything that you're not ready to see or able to handle. And it could be a very good step for you. If you change your mind, you can always say, you know what, Archangel Michael, I don't want you to be my divine gatekeeper anymore. It's that easy. But it would, I think, help filter things so you wouldn't feel so overwhelmed. That being said, another thought just came into my head where I feel like the angels are like, make sure you tell them when you're on YouTube looking at meditations and you see open your third eye meditation, do not do opening meditations for your chakras. Do balancing meditations, because if your eye has been closed for this long because you're afraid and then you just go and open it extra wide, that is going to be terrifying and overwhelming. So do not do that. Pile 3. That was a very clear message. They're saying balancing and healing chakra meditations. Do not do opening or closing. You just want balance. Your body will know what that is for you, and it will open itself up as it needs to or close itself more as it needs to, because too much either way is not good for us. Sorry, I was laughing because I've never had them scream something so loud at me. So yes, some of you are going to do it anyways, but the angels are warning you not to. Heed my advice. Okay. All right. This card keeps catching my eye, so let's come back to it. Thought it said Merlin, but it actually says Merlina. And it says, you are confused and indecisive because you do not have enough information. Do research or seek expert advice before making a decision. And then there's a little balance symbol there. Sorry, I just seen dolphins in this card, and I was thinking, I have a hunch who might pick this pile that I know, and if it's you, you know who I'm talking about. You do need more balance, I imagine. Okay. Anyways, all of you didn't need to hear that. Shout out to my friend while I'm on YouTube. Okay. Oh, you guys are goofy. I keep I don't know, now I keep giggling. It tells me that I think as I've been doing this reading that you yourselves are starting to feel a little looser, a little more calm. That's good. I want you to feel that way. You're not being judged here. It's just you and me and the angels and spirit. Okay. Keep getting so distracted. Oh, grounding. That's probably another message you're trying to tell me. Okay, so grounding is really important because if we want to feel and connect with our bodies, we have to be in them. And that might sound very strange to you all, but just doing healings on people, I've seen that a lot of people's souls, some people will have their heads floating their ethereal head or soul head or whatever you want to call it is literally a head above their head, and it's just doing whatever it wants. I've seen some where they literally are hiding behind their bodies. Some are standing beside them. Some I don't even know where they are, and it's not saying that there's zombies walking around. It just means they just pop in and out as they like because they get a little bit bored. And all of that makes sense to do if you're in pain and you're emotionally overwhelmed and you don't know what to do about it. This could actually come back a bit to this where it's saying, do small baby steps, look more into different perspectives on whatever it is that you're confused about. You don't just need to know the answer. Google, what do other people in my situation do? I wish I knew the situation better that you're wondering about, but it's general reading again. I can't give you specifics. Hang on, I'm gonna look up what rabbit means. This might help me understand what you guys are going through. Okay, so what does rabbit mean? Apparently, in the book that I have, it means changing your diet for a few days and pay attention to how you're feeling. Also, that makes more sense with the whole physical body health and figuring out what your body wants. Yeah, and then another message is rather than steady step-by-step progress, you'll see it happen in leaps and bounds. So I think it's just kind of encouraging you that with whichever is happening to you guys physically, yeah, get connected to your bodies and look into what changes you need to make to honor your body. And I feel like some of you are gonna be like, this isn't fair, this is so hard, but it's kind of like, yo, you guys have been pretty rough and your body's just been taking what you've been shoving down and suppressing for so long. It's time to honor it a little bit and make a couple of sacrifices because it's been chugging along pretty good considering to what it's been through. And just remember that, be compassionate with it, be compassionate with yourself, and be gentle because it's actually done pretty well for what it's gone through. And once you take these steps, it's, I guess, kind of how at the start I was saying, it seems like change is going to happen for you. And I have to put it out there that um, in these readings, soon for spirit could be like a week, a month, a year, 5 years. They just don't really understand time in its limits as we've put on them. So they're just like, oh yeah, like it's not going to take that long, but that long could be 2 years. But it will get better. It's going to get significantly better. And one day I feel like you're just going to be like, wow, I just did that and I didn't feel any pain or I didn't have this flare up. It was amazing. Yeah. Um, that's a really awesome message. There's a lot of heavier things, but just feeling the energy now, it feels like there's flow and things are feeling lighter, a little more exciting, and you guys are gonna have more fun doing this than I think I originally thought you were gonna have when I first felt this. So that's amazing. It's gonna be an exciting journey. You're gonna feel the passion again. Oh, yeah. And speaking what you want. Oh, wow, that's so funny. I just all of a sudden seen a little bit of thing there. You guys are actually very I'm trying to say this in a way that's not gonna be cringy or weird. You guys are very sexual beings, and I don't know if you even know that about yourself. I think it's been a little bit suppressed in the fact that you haven't really felt into your body, but it's like saying like you are capable of so much passion, and it means for life, but also like very physical sense. You guys are very capable of great passion. Oh, I'm so sorry. That is like a weird message delivered to people you don't even see the faces of. So awesome. You guys seem really fun. Oh, I can't wait for you to be your authentic, true selves because feeling that energy now versus before, like want to hang out with you guys. You're like gonna, I don't know, you're just silly and I feel like you're gonna laugh a lot and you're not gonna take things so seriously and be so anxious about it. And just saying that, I think that's more or less all I got. Oh, I'll just comment on this card last. Okay, it says forgiving and learning. As you release and heal the past, you experience more love in your present moment. Yeah, so I'm thinking this is, you know what's so funny? This card is making me think that yes, a lot of you saw like the classic like ghosts or dead people when you were a kid and it really scared you because you didn't know what to do about it. And with all the horror movies out there, we think dead people are really scary, but we don't realize that we can just kind of tell them to bugger off, or they usually come to us because they don't know what to do, and you just basically ask Archangel Azrael and Michael to help their souls cross over. And if I'm making it sound simplified, it's because we have overcomplicated that. We've made it seem like this crazy hard thing. It's not that crazy and hard. Dead people are not intimidating. They have to go away if you tell them to because you have free will and your own life to live and they can't bother you if you don't want them to. That's a little bit of a rant, but the other one is definitely that this not receiving love and thinking you're worthy of self-love and love from others comes from, I want to say, family systems. And I think some of you might have been raised in, I'm going to say, Christian societies or Catholic. It feels like a very Caucasian religion. as strangely as that sounds, or like one that like kings were. There's like an Anglican. I'm sorry, I don't really know them very well, those religions, but something around that, and feeling like you always had to prove yourself and beg people for your to feel worthy and for their attention. And I think that um they're a little bit sexist, to be honest. I think some of your issues, if you're a female, can come around sexism and what they thought women were deserving of or not deserving of. I'm sorry about that. That is so tricky to figure out limiting beliefs around religion like that when you're young. My last little recommendation to you all. I just saw you all as like little kids with a really cute stuffy and just holding it, and it kind of told me that your like main heart wounding came from when you were a little kid. Yeah, so just a lot of affirming around it being important to kind of figure out what beliefs were kind of instilled in you and why you think the way that you deserve the things that you deserve, because you do deserve so much more. Yeah, I think you guys could be light workers, which is something to worth looking into. It's like a positive thing after all this hard work stuff you're throwing at you. It might be nice to see that. And then also look into energy shielding, especially if you are psychically gifted. Energy shielding just keeps the gross stuff away and doesn't allow it to attach to you. So those are my recommendations. What an interesting reading. I don't even feel like I did a love reading, so that's how general readings go. I've said that a lot this reading, but wow, I realize it's so interesting when you're just sitting here saying things and no one's here. And yeah, it's really quite funny, but I like the challenge. It actually makes you have to trust yourself so much more and makes you really have to like listen a little harder to the small details. Anyways, you guys have a good one, and I hope to catch you around. Low pile 4. Right, so we have a bunch of different cards for you. The main things you chose is the fluorite heartstone here. And you actually got the 4 agreements cards, which no one else got, and the healing with the angels cards, which no one else got. So cultivate faith. Be impeccable with your word. Don't take anything personally. See other people as they are. Refuse to eat emotional poison. Don't take anything personally. Relinquish self-importance. Everyone lives in their own dream. Say goodbye to sadness and drama. Surrender and let go of the past. Always do your best. All right, get these other ones here. Enchantment. Intention. Listening. Celebration. Healing. Truth and integrity. Find guidance. Nature. Harmony. New beginnings. Ooh, I feel like I didn't fully understand all the cards you got. Soulmate. Playfulness. Music. Answered prayers. Release your ex. The time has come to clear your energy. Yeah, I'm gonna put that over there. Religious factors. Your love life is influenced by the religious upbringing and spiritual path. Express your love. Go ahead and make the romantic gesture. Engagement. Your love life is ascending to a higher level of commitment. Deception. Someone is wearing a false mask in this relationship. Children. Your love life is being affected by children. Past life relationship. You have known each other before. Okay. Oh. Okay, you have more still. Soul memories and gifts. You've done this before. You'll survive this. New solutions and beginnings. Trust. Come out of the closet. Meditate. Follow your heart. Positive change. Find the blessings in your current situation. Okay, I'm just going to take a minute here to absorb all this. My first impressions from this poll. Some of you are just getting out of a bad relationship. This person was not good for you. I think they cheated on you. If they didn't cheat on you, they just were maybe a little too flirty with other people. They might not have been like honest about where they were. Like maybe they were even just hanging out with their friends a lot, but they would like lie about where they'd been, and their intentions weren't always great. They didn't have a lot of integrity is the word I want to use. And they just kept feeding you these excuses, and they kind of throw it back at you, like change the attention from them to you whenever you kind of tried to address it. And I do think there was a little bit of a emotional manipulation here. For some of you, it was emotionally abusive, and for some of you, it just was really, really bad. It wasn't quite abusive, but they were just not ready for a relationship. They were not healthy people. They had a lot of their own issues, and instead of dealing with it, I feel like they drank a lot or had addictions to, it can be anything. Being too obsessed with anything is not healthy. And some of you were doing this reading being like, oh, I wonder, like, I think you guys in this pile are single very recently, or not so recently, but still stuck on the same past relationship. And then there's a few of you here who have little crushes on someone, like a little flirt thing going on with a new person, but you're asking about both because you're still a little bit stuck on if it was right to have left that person. You don't like being alone. Yeah, that's definitely a theme here. You do not like being alone by yourself. It causes you to have to feel and accept yourself and just be okay with being with you, and that makes you a bit uncomfortable. I think you're intimidated by all the healing work that there is to do there, so you're kind of avoiding it. Yeah, so here we go. If you're wondering, how do I know for sure you shouldn't be with your ex? You actually got the card that says release your ex. The time has come to clear your energy. For some of you who are like, I wasn't asking about my ex, I don't know what you're talking about. It could also be that because this was a very gross feeling relationship, and some of you might even be offended by that, but they were very deceitful and they were not emotionally grown up. I want to say that they kind of toyed with your head a little too much on what was true, and just, yeah, I just keep coming back to this energy of them spinning it back on you whenever you try to address the situation. So, yeah, release them, stop thinking about them. I feel like some of you still have their number. I was going to say social media, but I don't know. I feel like some of you are still like in communication with them. Stop that. It's not good for you or them. It's keeping you stuck in this energy. Cord cut with them, and do a little looking into where this type of person has appeared in your life before, like how they've treated you, the emotions that you feel that are gross when you think about them, or even like if it's really highs and low. Like, I think Spirit's saying you've seen this before. My bet would be from how either your parents treated you, like one of them had a relationship with you that was very high and low, or if they did something that wasn't very nice and you called them out on it, I think they might have spun it back on you. Or their relationship to each other was like that, but it's like a pattern here. That's what this card is saying, is that this ex, you drew him in because it was something that you were familiar with and an energy that you knew, but you don't need it anymore. It's time to let it go. And I actually, saying that, I think now that the person, like one of your parents treated the other parent like this, and they also treated that with you, I almost want to say some of you might even have thought at times that one of your parents was, I don't know my mental illnesses very well, like bipolar or something along that lines, where they could kind of just freak out out of nowhere all of a sudden, and it was very confusing. And it was just, ugh, so many highs and lows, and you just didn't know which way to go with it. And you recognizing that is because you came into your family on a soul level to break this generational pattern, to not suppress your emotions and go down that path, or attract another partner in who's like that. You're here to release that and release your family, and if you have children, from this pattern. It's pretty powerful stuff. Maybe not what you're expecting from an X card. Sorry, I'm just gonna scan over here. Yeah, it's good. I see kind of what you're trying to call in. So going in and doing that clearing and healing work around that relationship that you were influenced by or saw, and really, I feel like it's really going to be important for you to reflect on what you want to stand for in a relationship and what you want for yourself. And stop attracting people who think they are the best. They're everything. I feel like you get a little bit pulled in by that type of energy where you think it's confidence, but it's just self-importance. It's just something very ego-based to hide all these other insecurities that they have. Those people aren't good. They're not real. They're very manipulative, and it's like recognizing that. But you guys are gonna call in a partner. It's not. I always laugh at this because people don't like hearing this. it's not gonna be right away. Like this person, like this soulmate here, it's gonna come in when you do your healing work, when you find kind of like the fun in life and you stop focusing on finding someone and not being alone, and dealing with kind of like that brainwashing that you guys have had. And if you kind of jump into another relationship, I think you're just going to attract that same guy in a different body. And it's not going to be good. It's going to be the same result. It's going to be just as hard to lead them. They're very charming. Yeah, it's funny. It says come out of the closet, but it just means, in your case, to step into yourself. Stop hiding in a room somewhere because it hasn't been safe to be vulnerable in who you are because of like these type of people in your life. Like, you are going to draw in your soulmate who's very supportive and is everything you've wanted, and you just need to like have integrity. You are going to pull in this soulmate, but you have to work on your inner child. Like this says children are affecting your love life. I think it's literally your inner child, and just because of the colors here, it's really going back to your upbringing. It's so interesting. In pile 3, they had a little thing about Christian beliefs. So I wonder if some of you are going to watch pile 3 and 4. It's fine. It's just a little bit of the same energy here in this one spot where it's saying religious factors. Your love life is influenced by your religious upbringing and spiritual path. And then the inner child. It is a tricky one. It's like there's so small programmings in your head that you don't even quite realize are there. I feel like you've hidden from your shadow side a little bit here. It's like your inner wounding is begging you to look at it and address it and make it feel safe and okay to be part of you, but you are just ignoring it. You only want to look at the good stuff, the things that make you look lovable and cute, but then you know this other side of you's there, so then you don't love yourself and think you're worthy of things. And it's just like, it's like a really complicated feeling situation. But if you just break it down into small steps, you're gonna have no problems moving forward, because everything here, sorry, I'm just saying, I'm like, is there a block in moving forward for you guys? There is a little bit of block in the sense that you are like enchanted by, not all of you, but you're enchanted by this ex, or you're enchanted by that kind of energy. Like, you know you shouldn't go near it, but you just can't seem to help yourself. And it's interesting. It's like this internal battle, but then you're like, oh, it's just easier if I go for it because then I don't have to be alone, or it might be different this time, or it's just, I feel like you don't have a lot of trust in yourselves in this pile. And I think it could even be because of this like upbringing. If you're thinking, man, my family wasn't religious, but it's like the older you go back in generations, the more religion influenced people's mindsets and belief systems. Even if they themselves were not religious, they were influenced by that hardcore thinking on what people should be worth and rules for certain genders and all that junk. Yeah, so meditate. So it's just saying connect with yourself, and there is a lot of orange here. So I'm just trying to see. It's a little bit of passion, actually. I wasn't really sure if it was talking about sexual blocks for you guys or if it was actual passion. And I feel like embracing your feminine energy. you do not feel safe in the feminine, which I think goes back to that whole upbringing. And then these type of people um, don't make anyone feel safe being feminine and loving and open and vulnerable, compassionate, and able to hold space for people. Yeah, so that it makes sense why you're feeling like that. Yeah, you've really guarded your heart. And I feel like one of the reasons why you stay in these type of relationships is because you know them and they're familiar and they feel in some way safer than the unknown. But they're not safer, they're really bad, and there's so much more healthier relationships out there. I feel like you've been like praying for guidance on this and to like not want to be attracted to them anymore, but that's part of like the soul lesson here is that um is that it isn't gonna be easy. It does say you've had relationships with them. I wasn't sure if this was for the soulmate, but I actually think it's for this ex. And that just always makes things complicated. It makes you more attracted to them on a soul level than you should be, because not only is this relationship pattern familiar, this soul is familiar, and we like things that are familiar. That doesn't mean it's impossible though. It's your soul literally came here to conquer this. I have a hunch that you've been trying to learn this lesson in multiple lives. But it's just so familiar. Yeah, I think you guys, this relationship that you have a hard time not thinking about them with, I want to say like literally goes back to years and years ago, centuries ago, even. And they've always been able to charm you, but you haven't ever had a voice in the relationship or actually been able to be heard by that person. They overtalk you, yeah, it's not good. I'm just reflecting here and asking spirit, well, this sounds like a toxic relationship. But then I had the thought that for something to be toxic and kind of mentioned by them, I'm not saying this right. It's not that it's not toxic, but it's like you've gone back to them so many times that you have to take accountability for your actions in this at this point. The spirit doesn't want to focus on the fact that it's toxic because you know that and you've heard it so many times. They're like, hey, you got to fix this. You've been playing a role in it too. All right, I'm going to draw attention back to this card here, and I'm just asking what we can do about this sort of energy that you can't seem to let go of each other. And I was also just going to mention that over here, I was looking at this card closer and I realized that you may still have a contract with this person in this relationship. And if you see someone or you know how to do it yourself, to ask that they make sure they cut the cord between you and this person in this contract through all lifetimes, like go back for years and years, because there's still something happening there with them on a agreement level. Like you have a contract with them, but I think it's one of the ones where you want to remove it. You don't want it there anymore. That might not be for all of you. For some of you, it could just be that it is saying that you agreed to have this relationship with this soul. Right, so just asking, how can you guys move past this relationship and attract in someone who's independent and emotionally available? There's a couple of suggestions here. One is that you guys might benefit from having a mantra, however you say it, every day around receiving your health, your love and happiness, there's a few things there, but there is a lot of blocks here. You have almost every color except for yellow. So the one thing that you guys are doing right is that you don't worry about other people's and their issues necessarily. You more have a lot of anxiety for yourself, which still isn't good, but at least there's something going right there. Okay, so how to kind of call in and maybe ease this funky attraction that you can't seem to let go of with this person. It says to affirm your personal spirit, and what that's going to do is it's going to like affirm your spark of divinity within yourself, like remind you of your higher calling, your higher purpose to be here, so you're not just so stuck on this strange attraction and connection to this other person. To affirm your spirit is to intentionally align your essential self with only the highest good. That is the intention behind it. And by doing this, you are assuming full connection with the spirit, upgrading your personal and even your ego and your prejudices and your limiting beliefs so that they are at the highest order they could be. And you're giving permission to spirit to provide your more human self with healing and insight. And this should help you immediately start setting more energetic boundaries, so you can get out of this type of relationship. And so if you're saying how I'm supposed to affirm my personal spirit, it's just like taking time to feel your body and affirm or state, remember, recognize, any of those words work, that you are made from a higher source, like from divinity, from the divine. So if you're visual, I would recommend like looking at a picture that you associate with divinity and that higher energy. So it could be like an angel, it could be a spiritual figure, like if you like Buddha or Mother Mary, if you like Jesus, any of those people work. And it's just, you're going to visualize them and tell your soul, like, we came from the same energy, we are of the same energy, just to reaffirm and reconnect with that higher self. If you're not visual, the other thing I recommend for you guys is to put your hand on your heart and then just feel that connection. If you're a physical person, I think that will make sense to you. If not, go with the visual. Yeah. Do you want to use like a verbal way? You could try saying, I affirm my personal spirit, but you have to make sure that makes sense to you, because otherwise you're just saying words that don't. And then as a part two to all that, because this person is equally kind of entrapped or engrossed in this partnership, they say to affirm their spirit as well, like call on their higher self, their higher spirit, to kind of let you go and let you both remember your higher purpose here so you can get on with things. Okay, so some other messages, recommendations for you. Pile 4. Truth and integrity, I think, is actually focused more on your relationship with yourself. And I feel like because this is turning more into a reading where I see that you go back to this relationship or to these types of people, you have to hold yourself accountable for your actions and be honest with yourself about how you're feeling, and just stay away from things like that, and really just ask yourself, why are you going to people like that? And I feel like for some of you, it's because there's like this strong sexual attraction to them. And you mistake like lust for love, and it gets you in a whole bunch of trouble. Yeah, just trust that better times are coming. Trust that you can get over this. Trust yourself. There's all these opportunities for a new start to get away from all this, and this change will be positive for you. But you have to listen to yourself and trust yourself to just ask better. Just to not be in this kind of dynamic anymore, and that it does exist for you. Like it does say, you can call in a higher form of love than what you've experienced. And it's funny, I do feel like some of you will get married. I don't see it as like a big wedding, but I feel like you're gonna be with someone and you're just gonna want that officialness to that relationship. Yeah, that's good. That's nice. It means it's out there for you guys. You just have to figure out how to let go of this one. And I don't think it's so much figuring it out, it's just you know when you're slipping back into your habits and being drawn to go back there. And instead of just giving in, try saying no. Stop yourself. You have the strength to do it. Get rid of their number, get rid of their email address, their for some reason I want to say pager, but nobody has pagers anymore. Get rid of all those small things, because you know yourself, you know you can't help it. Just block it all and then do your own work, because trust me, there's enough stuff here to work on and go deeper into that you actually don't really have time for this relationship. It's taken away from all this growth that you are wanting and able to do. It says in this card, it's interesting, it says you'll survive this. I think some of you are scared that you just can't handle the pain of this or the difficulty of it. So that's also another reason why you've stayed there. And it's like, you will survive this. New solutions and beginnings are ahead for you. And it looks like you're going to be on a very healing journey. And I also feel like you guys are trying to get into some form of healing. And you've done that kind of work before. Like, you've helped people a lot in your other past lives. And that's why you're feeling so called to it. It's just what your soul has done for a long time now. And I feel like this has been a bit blocked. Like, you've had these ideas and this desire in your heart, but you just haven't really made it into reality, like voiced it into existence, is what I get. I feel like you get misunderstood a lot. Like, people don't really hear you, and you say things and you're confused as to why people didn't understand you after you've spoken. There's something in the way you speak. And it's something about how you grew up. I almost feel like you didn't have enough time to get a whole word in, so you speak really quick now and you skip out some words because you're just trying to say what you wanted to say before someone cuts you off, or they stop listening, or they're gone. And that is almost why when people are able to stop and listen to you, when people are able to hold space for you and listen to you. They don't always understand because you've had this pattern of speaking really quickly and skipping your words. And I think there's a little bit of a confidence problem where you use a lot of filler words that confuse what you're trying to communicate. And we are definitely all guilty of that. I use a ton of them, as I've come to realize when I'm editing these readings. You use them to a point where it contradicts what you're saying, but that's been a good defense mechanism because people almost get so confused that sometimes they'll just hear what they want to hear, but if they're actually listening to you, they have no idea what you're saying. Because I'm not sure if you always know what you're saying out loud. You're just saying one thing and then contradicting it, and then putting yourself down and then saying something else, but then taking it back. It's funny, not even me trying to explain it. I feel like I'm suddenly talking faster, feel more panicked, and I think you feel all those things. But I do see that it's very connected to a defense mechanism that happened when you were a kid. So it's not serving you anymore. It's okay to start to go through the process of getting rid of that defense. Right, I'm actually gonna, oh, sorry, this is another card that I looked at. Intention. Yeah, I kind of think it's about this relationship again, like making an intention every day to not go looking for their information, their accounts, contacting them, to make an intention to focus on you. And I see like that you're like in this safe little beautiful, I want to say cocoon, because you're transforming and you're healing, but you have to make the intention to do that. It's not just going to happen to you. You have to ask for it, want it, and take small steps so you get there, and stay away from that. Stay away from that thing over there. Oh, right. Sorry. I was going to read the advices here. So don't take anything personally. Everyone lives in their own dreams. And it says, all people live in their own dream, in their own mind. They are in a completely different world from the one we live in. And I think this is just about, there's lots of symbols here. I feel like you guys like reading books a lot and studying the metaphysical world, I think might be the right word. So, and it just thinks it's about like furthering, taking the time to go further into that, like daydream and follow, like if you're really passionate about gaining information around the spiritual, go that way. It's good. It's good for you. It's also going to be a good distraction to keep you busy and away from unhealthy dynamics. Personal importance, or taking things personally, is the maximum expression of selfishness because we make the assumption that everything is about me. Relinquishing self-importance. Honestly, I'm a little confused by this one. I think maybe, I mean, I'm not positive, but I think that there's a little bit of two things here. I think the person you're with is almost coming out in this card, but I also think that your attention is just so focused on them that you kind of forget about other people and their problems. Like, that's not always a bad thing, but it could be like a call to maybe be a little more honoring with friends or family members. And if they say something, sometimes I think like you can think they're intentionally saying something rude towards you, but it sometimes can just be like you're opinion or your impression of what they mean. Okay. So take anything personally. Refuse to eat emotional poison. Taking things personally makes you prey for predators. They can hook your attention with one little opinion and feed you whatever poison they want. Refuse to eat poison. So yeah, I think this is from this person and them kind of dismissing you and what you're saying and just always flipping the conversation around. But it is interesting. It does go a little bit with this card. So I think when you're triggered, you just take things a little more personally. And I think being with this person puts you in a little bit more of a continuously triggered fight or flight sort of state. Not good for anyone. Next one. When you see other people as they are without taking it personally, you can never be hurt by what they say or do. Even if others lie to you, it is okay. They are lying to you because they are afraid you will discover that they are not perfect. Yeah, I think you've really been a little bit blind. You have only seen the light in these people, but you haven't acknowledged the shadow side. And it's not saying that you just need to accept them for who they are and then your relationship will be good. It's more saying you have more of a dream image of who they are and what you want them to be in your head than how they are in reality. Like when you go to see them, you're like, oh, I forgot you're actually like this. They're like that all the time. You just forget about it when you're away from them, daydreaming about them. Okay, surrender and let go to the past. Whatever life takes away from you, let it go. When you surrender and let go of the past, you allow yourself to fully be alive in the moment. Letting go of the past means that you can enjoy the dreams that is happening right now. And this card is kind of hinting towards letting, like, because of something in the past, losing a bit of your confidence in yourself, not feeling safe as a female or in the feminine. Maybe even losing a little bit of your own passion and joy for your life. Okay, this is be impeccable with your word. To have great faith is to have great power because your intent, your will, is undivided. When your word isn't dissipated by doubt, the power of your word becomes even stronger. So I think this goes to say with your way of speaking and it maybe being a bit too fast and it all kind of stemming from being afraid to say something that might seem too confident or that is wrong. The truth is you're right more often than you think you are, and that you should stand in your own power. You deserve to stand in your own power. It's you that's not believing in yourself. It's not the people around you. It's probably why you're starting to realize a lot of people aren't understanding you, because these people are listening to you and they're asking questions because they want to hear what you have to say. But the way you kind of take back what you say all the time or change what you've said because you don't want to say anything that someone might question you on or not believe you on, or you could be wrong about it. Yeah, it's just not good. You don't need to do that anymore. Okay, I think this is the last one I'm going to read. So say goodbye to sadness and drama. Life was rooted in making assumptions and taking things personally. The whole world of control between humans is based on that. How interesting. I guess it's a theory that it's our biased opinions that assume what someone else meant when they're coming from their injured place. I'm not really sure why that's coming up for you guys. It could just mean that some of you get really stuck on something that happened to you, but maybe seeing the situation from a higher third-party perspective would give you some peace around it, because then you could see their side and then see also your side and then acknowledge why they're both right and how maybe it wasn't intended to be as hurtful as you had perceived it, but not disempower yourself for thinking that you didn't have a right to think it wasn't hurtful. If that makes sense. It's one of those weird duality things of the world, I guess. Okay, I lastly did pull, or I wrote down some messages at the very start of this reading, messages from your higher self that they wanted you to know. And let's see. It says, loneliness is a sign you are in desperate need of yourself. So instead of seeking out other relationships to fill that block, you need to learn to be okay with just being with yourself. And that could even be why you run back to this guy or allow him to come back in, is because then you wouldn't have to be alone. It says, keep watering yourself, you're growing. So be patient with yourselves and gentle with yourselves, because you are learning. Growing involves the process, the act of moving forward and changing things. So you are changing things, even though it might feel slow. It says, in order to love who you are, you cannot hate the experiences that shaped you. It's always a very powerful statement. We don't love all the things that happen to us, but then we would be such different human beings if we weren't them. So it's not about loving that you had unfortunate things happen to you, but it's about accepting them and having gratitude for the person you are today, and understanding that is because of what happened and how you grew from that experience. Daring to set boundaries is about having the courage to love ourselves even when we risk disappointing others. Yep, that seems pretty important. Good message from your higher self. And then the last one from your higher self is, be enough for yourself first. The rest of the world can wait. So I think that really goes nicely with the being okay to be in your own company and not needing a partner or relationship to kind of distract you from being with yourself. Okay, and as we're getting towards the end of this, I did also pull little notes from what the person you were thinking about, because I did see the X card. I did say I wanted a message from the ex, or this relationship that pile number 4 was thinking of, and it did say, you deserve better than how I treat you. So that, just if you haven't heard enough and not felt like this is bad, there you go. That's from their higher selves to you. And then I was looking into this sort of soulmate energy that's coming in in a distance here once you do all this work. And I asked their higher self what they wanted you to know, and it says, I love you and want us to go deeper with each other. And I also asked for another one, and it said, my heart skips a beat when I watch you walk into a room. A more healthier approach. To some of you are like, wow, maybe that just seems a bit too gentle and you like this more aggressive energy. But if the energy feels really aggressive and addictive like a drug, because there's highs and lows, that's not good. this more stable energy coming in, feels consistent, supportive, and a lot more accepting. And it's like they see your soul first. Like it's more of a deeper soul connection, where this feels a little bit like drug addiction energy, to put it nicely. I'm so sorry. That might have been too pointed, but that's like the best word I have for it. It's so interesting doing these readings because you're not really sure which direction it's gonna go in, and then you think you're talking about one thing and then you just get so laser focused on something else. Ooh, sorry, as I was doing that, I was like, something is important about this card. There is a new moon coming up. Ooh, actually, sorry. By the time this video posts, actually, I think we'll be very close to the full moon, which will be even better for releasement. And I would suggest for you guys to do a ritual. If you don't normally do full moon things, take the time to do it the next full moon that's coming up after you see this reading. It's just gonna really tell the universe that you're ready to ditch this. Yeah, I think that's all I have for you guys.